Hello friends, you're watching Android Tech Solutions, and today in this video I'm going to show you how can you deploy a WordPress website in AWS EC2 Ubuntu server instance. Okay, so basically what we are going to do is we are going to launch a EC2 instance. Okay, and the OS which we are going to use is Ubuntu server, and we are going to host a WordPress website in it. Okay, so first of all you have to log into your AWS console. Okay, so I'm logged into my AWS console. Now the next thing you have to do is you have to make sure you are in a region. Okay, by default I am in Northern Virginia region, so basically you have to choose a region where you want to deploy your instance. Okay, where you want to deploy your server. Okay, so right now I am using Northern Virginia region. You can choose any of the region. Now just click on services, and underneath compute you will find EC2. And here at the left side just click on instances and just click over here launch instance. And we are going to launch a Ubuntu server instance, so we are going to choose this AMI. Then resources, so I'm just going to keep it with one virtual CPU and 1 GB of RAM. I will keep these things default. And storage, I'll keep it to 20 GB. And I'll add a name tag. I'll call it web server. Next we need to configure a security group, so I'll create one new security group. I'll call this as WordPress SG, WordPress security group. And here I will allow SSH, and I will also allow port number 80. Okay, because right now our website will be running on HTTP protocol. Okay, so we will open port number 80 to anywhere. Okay, now review and launch, and all looks good. Launch. And now we are going to create a new key pair to connect to our instance. Okay, so basically this is our private key through which we are going to connect to our server. I'll call it as web server key. So the key has been downloaded. Okay, so our instance is now launching. So just click on view instance. So our instance has been launched successfully. And from here I'll just copy the public IP address of the instance. Here you can see IPv4 public IP. So we just need the public IP of the instance. In the description you will find the public IP of the instance. So to connect to the instance you will require the public IP address. Now if you are in a Linux machine, you can just open up your terminal, or if you are in a Windows machine, so you have to open Putty SSH client. Okay, so I have made a video in how to connect to AWS instances by Putty. I will give the link in the description, so you can go through that video. In that video I have described how can you connect to connect from Windows to a EC2 instance. Okay, so right now I'm using Linux, so I'm using my terminal to connect to my instance. Okay, if you are using Mac, so just open up your terminal. Then basically we have to go to the downloads folder where our key is located. Okay, and here we just need to change the permission of the file. Okay, now we'll try to SSH to it. So the command will be SSH, and by default the user is Ubuntu. Okay, so SSH Ubuntu @ and then the IP address of the server, and then -i, and then the key file. Okay, I'm connected to the instance now. Okay, so I'm connected to the instance. Now I'm just quickly going to update the machine by running this command sudo apt update -y, and we'll upgrade all the packages by running this command sudo apt upgrade. So this will install all the latest packages in our machine. Okay, it will upgrade all the packages in the machine. The next thing we have to do is we have to set up LAMP server in our Ubuntu server. Okay, so basically LAMP stands for Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP. Okay, so we have to set up a stack of these tools: Apache, MySQL, and PHP. Okay, as we know, WordPress works on PHP. WordPress is written in PHP, and it also requires database connection. Okay, and Apache is basically used to set up web server in Linux. Okay, so we are going to first of all install Apache web server, then we are going to deploy the database server, then we are going to install PHP, and then we are going to deploy our WordPress. Okay, now we will install the package for the Apache web server, which is Apache 2. Okay, so basically we need to install this package. Once the package is installed, we are going to check whether the service of Apache is running or not. So you can check it by running this command sudo systemctl status apache 2. So it says it is active and running. Okay, if it is active and running, so just go to a console, copy the public IP address and open a new tab and paste the IP address over here. So you will be able to see this page. Okay, this is the default page of Apache web server. Okay, if this is popping up in your web browser, it means you have successfully configured the Apache web server on your instance. Okay, if this is not coming up, so it means whether your service is not running or your security group doesn't have port number 80 allowed. Okay, so to check that, just go to your security group and go to inbound, just click on edit, and here you have to just make sure you have to just add a rule. If HTTP is not there, you have to just add a rule of HTTP and set it to anywhere. Okay, or if you want to host your WordPress website with HTTPS, okay, so you have to also need to allow HTTPS. Okay, and set it to anywhere and save. Okay, so our service is running. If your service is not running, so you can simply run this command systemctl start apache 2. Okay, and after that we'll just enable the service by running this command systemctl enable apache 2. So what this will do, what does enable do, it will keep the service running even if we reboot the machine. Okay, let's say if we have rebooted the server, so the service once the server comes up after the reboot, this service will be running, and if the service is running, it means our web server will be up and running. Now we are going to set up the database server. So we are going to set up the MySQL. Okay, so I'm going to install MariaDB server. So I have to run this command sudo apt install MariaDB-server. Two packages basically we need to install: MariaDB server and MariaDB client. MariaDB server is used to set up the database server, and MariaDB client package is used to connect to the database server. Okay, now we are going to configure our database server. So you have to run this command. So sudo systemctl start MariaDB. First of all, you need to start the service of database server. So the service is MariaDB. And to check whether the service is running or not, you can just simply run this command, systemctl status MariaDB. Okay, so our database service is running. Now we are going to configure our database, which means we are going to set up our root password of our database, and we are going to secure our database. So you have to run this command, sudo mysql secure installation. So it says us to enter the current root password. So we haven't set any root password yet, so we'll just hit enter over here. And now we are going to set the root password. And it says by default there is an anonymous user inside the database. It says to remove it. So yes, we want to remove the user. And the next thing it says disallow remote root login. Okay, so we will disallow remote root login for security purpose. And by default there's a test database, so we are going to remove that database as well. And reroute privileges, just hit yes. And now we'll just simply restart the service of MariaDB. So now we have successfully configured our database server. Now we are going to install PHP. So I have to run this command, sudo apt install PHP, PHP MySQL, PHP GD, GD, PHP CLI, and PHP common. So these 5 packages basically you need to install. And we are installing PHP 7.2 version, which is by default present in Ubuntu 18. Okay, so the PHP packages have been installed successfully. Now we are going to download WordPress. Okay, so just open up a tab and right over here search download WordPress. I'll just give the link in the description of this website, and here you will find the button called download WordPress, and just right click on it and copy the link address. And here in the instance, first of all you need to install 2 packages. One is wget and another is unzip. So these 2 packages basically you need to install. After the packages are installed, just run this command, sudo wget, and paste the link which we have copied. Okay, so here you can see that file has been downloaded. Okay, so you have to just right click on it and copy link address, and then you have to using wget, you are going to just download the file. Now we have to unzip the file. So sudo unzip latest.zip. So this will unzip the file, unzip the zip file, and here we got the WordPress directory. And in this WordPress directory we have all the WordPress files. Now we are going to copy the whole content which is present inside the directory WordPress. So you have to run this command, sudo cp-r WordPress /* to where www HTML. You have to copy all the content to where www HTML. Okay, where www HTML is the document root of the Apache web server, where we place our website files to host our websites. Okay, so it has copied all the files. To check, we'll just go to where www HTML, and if I hit over here ls, so here you can see all the files have been copied over here. Okay, so you have to copy all the files which are present in the WordPress directory to where www HTML. After that, you have to change the ownership of these files. If I check the ownership of these files, so by default these files are created by root. Okay, so we have to change the ownership of these files to www-data user. Okay, because Apache web server runs by www-data user. Okay, so we are going to change the permission. So you have to run this command sudo chown www-data www-data to /where www html, and for recursive it we'll use -R. And if I check the permission now, ownership now, sorry, so here you can see the ownership has been changed successfully. Okay, now we'll try to access our website. So you have to just copy the IP address, public IP. So right now it's opening the default page. Okay, so basically you need to delete the index.html file. Okay, so just go to where www html, cd/where www html, go to this directory, and there you will find one file called index.html. Okay, we have to remove this file. So we will run this command sudo rm-rf index.html. Sorry, index.html. Now we'll just refresh the page. So here you can see we are on the WordPress installation. Okay, so first of all you have to choose your language. Then now it is asking us for the database information. So just click on let's go. And now here you need to provide your database information. Your WordPress database name, your database username, your database password, your database IP address, table prefix. So we haven't created any database inside our database server. Okay, so we'll log into our database server. So you have to run this command sudo mysql -u root -p, and just pass your root password which you set up while setting up the database server. Okay, so I'm now logged in. Okay, so we have executed this command sudo mysql -u root -p. Okay, it means we are logging as the root user. Okay, root user basically here in the database mean administrative user. Okay, now first of all we are going to create a database. We are going to run this command create database, let's say WordPress. Okay, you can create a database by any name. Just for example, I'm creating the database by the name WordPress. After that we are going to create a user. Okay, so first of all we have satisfied this need of the WordPress configuration, which is database. So we have created a database. Now the next thing it requires is the username. So we are going to create a user. So we are going to create a user, and we are going to call this user as WP admin. Then identified by then the password of this user. I'm just keeping the password WP admin pass. Okay, so we have created a user called WP admin, and here's the password of this user. Okay, so now we are going to pass the username and password over here. Okay, now the next thing is we have to provide access to this user to this database. Okay, so we are going to run this query grant all privileges on then the database name. Okay, grant all privileges on the database name dot asterisk to then the username. Okay, now you can log out from the database, and now here we are going to provide the information. So our database name we created was WordPress. Then the username we created, the user we created was WP admin. And then the password was WP admin pass. And database host we are going to keep it localhost. And table prefix we are going to keep it as default. So it says the installation has been succeeded. So it says the we have configured all the things, the prerequisite of the WordPress. Now we are ready to do the installation. So we'll just click on run the installation. And first of all, you have to give the site title. Let's say Android and Tech Solutions. Then the username to log into the backend. So let's say I'll give the username as admin, and the password, let's say this is a password, and then my email address, and install WordPress. So first of all, you have to pass your username and then the password which you have set up. And now I'm logged into my WordPress backend. Okay, this is the backend of my WordPress website. And from here you can see the front end of the website. Okay, this is how my website is looking now. Okay, so I can now just install themes and I can configure my website front end and the backend from here itself. Okay, so thank you guys for watching this video. I've shown you the complete configuration, step-by-step configuration of deploying WordPress on a AWS EC2 instance, Ubuntu instance. So thank you guys for watching this video. Do like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more amazing tutorials.